Without prior public consultation, without stakeholder engagement, without a detailed explanation for its action, the Ifelodun, the Ajeromi Ifelodun local government area of Lagos woke up and renamed streets that allegedly had been previously named after mostly Igbo residents, all to Yoruba names. Now, online, offline, conventional and social media, we've seen lots of conversation around this. It's a controversial debate in Nigeria. But then, is this just a one-off thing? Or is Nigeria gradually sliding away from our creed, unity, faith, peace, and progress? Is the Nigerian nation, our nationhood, is it on trial? This will be the conversation today on Citizens Forum. My name is Jude Jomanekeji, and this is welcoming you officially to Citizens Forum on Sapiencia's channel. Now, like I said, you can have this conversation around what just happened in Lagos as a one-off thing. But this is something that has been building. The whole essence of having leadership in a country is to keep the people in check. And so when the ordinary man on the street, when the ordinary woman on the street goes against the Nigerian laws, it is the responsibility of those in power, of those in government, to call them to order. When we have ethnic divisions, when we have the people at the bottom rung of the society displaying intolerance amongst each other, religion, ethnicity, it is the job of those in power to call them back to order, pull them back to the side of the law. And like we say in Nigeria, ensure that the full weight of the law is brought to bear in that case. Section 41 of the Nigerian Constitution guarantees every Nigerian the freedom to move from one part of the country to any other part, so long as they are doing that within lawful means, so long as they are not breaking the law. Section 43 of the Nigerian Constitution guarantees every Nigerian the right to own movable and immovable property anywhere across Nigeria. And we see these sections of the Constitution being argued for by those in power when they want to fight for the rights of herders to move their cows from any part of Nigeria to any other part. We are familiar with that argument by those in authority. But gradually, are we seeing Nigerians in authority, people as highly placed as governors, people as respected as first-class chiefs or traditional rulers, I would call them in Nigeria? People connected very much to people in high places, including the presidency. Are we seeing them consistently violating the core of the Nigerian creed? The Nigerian state takes pride in saying it's deployed so much human and material resources, including millions of lives, to keep Nigeria one during the Civil War. The argument made for this is that there is no price too much to pay to keep Nigeria together. And so millions of Nigerians were killed during the Nigerian Civil War, because like the head of state said at that time, to keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done. And that task was done. But then, in a democracy, we just celebrated 26 years of unbroken democracy. Are we seeing a slide into what is worse than the pre-war era? To have this conversation today, is to really look at what has been happening since 2015. In April 2015, we saw somebody as highly placed in Lagos, as the Oba of Lagos, threaten an entire nation of Ndibo. We saw him assemble the creme de la creme of Ndibo in Lagos. He wasn't talking to children. He wasn't talking to never-do-wells. He wasn't talking to stateless people. He was talking to the creme de la creme of Ndibo in Lagos. And he told them that he wasn't pleading with them, but he was actually threatening them that they either vote for the candidacy of then Akinwumi Ambode or risk death in the lagoon of Lagos. The heavens did not fall when he made this threat. Nigeria continued as though nothing happened. As the Bible would say, day came and night came, and then there was 2019. In 2019, we saw Igbo-dominated areas specifically targeted for massive violence. Places like Okota, places like, you know Lagos better than me. These areas were specifically targeted. Ballot box snatching, maiming, shooting, and all of that. 2023 just happened yesterday. And we saw someone as highly connected to the powers that be as MC Oluomo threatening Ndibo on record that if you are not voting for the APC, sit at home, stay at home. Oh, they carried out that threat. Nigerians still remember like yesterday that these threats were carried out in the open. The beatings were done in the open. The maimings were done in the open. The disenfranchisement was done in the open. The Nigerian state acted like nobody was brought to book. Not even the Southeast governors treated these three matters that happened in Lagos as though it deserved some even explanation. The Southeast governors themselves acted like nothing really happened, like it was business as usual. And so it became business as usual. Today, we see slow and steadily Nigerian governors making unguarded utterances as it has to do with Mr. Peter Obi. First, it was the Benue State governor, Governor Hyacinth Alia, who made it public that Mr. Peter Obi, for what he termed security reasons, was not welcome to his state. We'll listen to him and then we'll go ahead.
I can never politicize that. I'm the one bearing the brunt and the pains and the sorrows of the IDPs in my state. The very respected Peter Obi was a governor. And if you are coming into someone's state, there are protocols. A very high personality, you're coming into someone's state and your party does not even know that you are coming. And the sitting governor do not know you are coming. And then you are going into where I'm protecting even most, the IDP camp. It's my duty to protect them. They have been disbalanced. And then I need to protect them even some more. So I don't know the intent you have. Is it not courteous enough just for me to know as a sitting governor and even to provide even more security to you and to prepare the minds of the IDPs in there that some guest is coming to visit with them? If I'm unreached, if he couldn't reach out to me, I have a chief of staff, I have an SSG, I have a PPS. So how would I have known that his intent was just to come and visit these people? I don't want people politicizing the IDPs. They are not there when we're suffering with them. They are not there in their own sorrows. I am. I'm there with my people. And here's a fact. There is a United Nations protocol on any visit to the IDPs. What if someone gets in there and then just starts shooting them down? If you're bringing some food to them, I need to know what kind of food you're bringing to them. There are protocols. And we need to observe them. Because if I just let someone, you're just moving from Abuja that you are going to the IDPs. Do I know the intent of you visiting the IDPs? I have to know so that...
Yes, a sitting governor. Of course, every Nigerian is familiar with Benue State. Every Nigerian is familiar with Governor Hyacinth there. Every Nigerian is also very, very familiar about the hard work the governor is putting in, and most importantly, the results of that hard work, the fruits of that hard work as it has to do with security in Benue State. Every Nigerian is familiar with the state of the IDPs in Benue State. The governor said that. Morning came and night came, and nothing happened. Nobody called him to order. Nobody told him he had crossed any line. Yesterday, also for the right reasons, the governor of Edo State, who is very famous for that excellent budget presentation to the State House of Assembly in Edo State, also picked on the same gentleman, Mr. Peter Obi. We'll listen to him.
The man will say no gashishi. I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody will say, no, guys, she will get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
Okay, this might seem unconnected, but then that was how unconnected it was, or it always is in Nigeria when it happens to certain people. My memory does not serve me right. I've been thinking if any governor have said such to Kwankwaso, wondering if any governor have said that to Atiku Abubakar. We can go on and talk about presidential hopefuls. But then we are not talking about presidential hopefuls today. We are talking about the Nigerian state and what we are really sliding into. Asking the question, is nationhood on trial by those in position of authority, on whom it behoves, in whose enlightened interest, even enlightened selfish interest, it is to keep the Nigerian ship together? All this going on as we see what is happening in Lagos begs for a question. But then before I throw open the phone lines, something we should all take note of as we all mourn the former President Muhammadu Buhari, who has been laid to rest according to Islamic rites, is the comment that came from his long-time associate, Buba Galadima. It is interesting to listen to Buba Galadima because we all knew Buba Galadima. I personally knew Buba Galadima tied to Buhari during the years Buhari was contesting serially and never made it. 2003, 2007, 2011. to pay him, to really give him his flowers, as we will say, Buba Galadima suffered the worst form of brutality from the Nigerian state because of his support. We know how many times he was even locked up by the DSS. I mean, it's all known. Buba Galadima has told us an interesting story after the death of President Muhammadu Buhari about how and why President Muhammadu Buhari was recruited to become president. These were his words, recruited to become president, because Muhammadu Buhari, we all remember, in 2011 have vowed he will never take part in politics. But then, to really understand certain things playing out in Nigeria is to take a look back at the accusation from various quarters, especially a section of Nigeria, about how President Muhammadu Buhari governed and what some people saw as an agenda, a clear-cut agenda of that administration. Well, a lot of Nigerians made excuses and said President Muhammadu Buhari then couldn't be part of such an agenda. But after his death, Buba Galadima, in public, has said the reason why he was recruited by them, and he mentioned names, to come into politics, partisan politics in the first case, was actually an ethnic one. We'll listen to Buba Galadima and we proceed.
Well, some of us who recruited him into politics had a mission, and I will reveal that mission today. General Buhari came into politics. It wasn't his province. He never liked politicians because he believed we are fake, and that we don't mean what we say. But there was an incident that made some of us to recruit him, convince him, and use the other people to convince him to join politics. And even though we had our own agenda, because in 1999 and 2000, the OPC was on rampage in some parts of the country, especially Southwest, and have inconvenienced a lot of people from this part of the country. And to the extent that they mobilized over 500 vehicles to come and invade Ilorin with the sole aim of uprooting what they called Fulani structures in Ilorin. And we felt that was too much. And Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Bola Tinubu, then governor of Lagos, was doing nothing. And some of us felt that those group of people were being encouraged by their leaders in position of authority. So how do we stop that? And I called a meeting in Kaduna at Alhaji Bashir Alhatu's house in a place called Unguan Kaji, directly opposite the house of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. And some of those we invited included Alhaji Wadanas, Professor Yadudu, Bashir Alhatu himself, Alhaji Yahya Sulehamma, and a host of others, about 34 of us. And we sat down to reason. How do we save our people from this OPC menace? So we said, I suggested that we have to, because you remove government through only two ways: the bullet of through the barrel of the gun and through the ballot box. And they said it was impossible to challenge General Obasanjo. That was how Buhari came to our mind. And when he was approached, he had a very unkind words for politicians. But since he didn't say he was not doing, we still pursued him. To cut a long story short, we achieved our first purpose of putting a brake to what OPC was doing, because immediately Buhari joined partisan politics, and we had a very big outing in Daura to initiate him into politics. The Obasanjo government became restive and was shaken to its bone marrow, and because those were some of his our thinking. So Obasanjo had to really checkmate the OPC. So for that reason, we have achieved our first purpose of bringing General Buhari into partisan politics. So the remaining now is history.
All right, so you listen to him. He made it clear the motivation that pushed them to recruit former President Muhammadu Buhari to come into politics in the first place. Now, for those who might pick an issue with that, in a democracy, there is absolutely nothing wrong with what they did. The question should be, just like he said, they saw what they saw as clearly an existential threat targeted at them, at the region, at an ethnic group. The question today on Citizens Forum, amongst many other questions anybody might call in and want to ask, is, as this plays out across Nigeria, where are the leaders from the Southeast? Are they on holiday? Are they unaware? Are they living in some alternative planet? Where is the voice of the Southeast governors? Where is the voice of the Southeast governors in all of this? As this plays out from Lagos to Benue, as this plays out across Nigeria, as Indibo become a target, where is the voice? Can anyone pretend not to hear the sounds going on? Can anyone pretend not to understand, just like Buba Galadima and the 34 or 36 saw the signs, read the signs, and came together, and you heard him? They achieved their purpose. You heard him clearly, that they thought at that time the sitting president was really not doing anything to save the situation. They had to make him do it. Today, who is making anyone call these governors to order? Who is making anyone call these characters in Lagos in order? And it's just to remind, especially those who are too young to know, that Lagos was the capital of Nigeria. Post-amalgamation in 1914, Lagos became the capital of Nigeria. And so, just as Abuja is today, and we have someone from River State lording it over Abuja, the way he deems fit, so also was Lagos. And so the resources that has been sunk into Lagos from the Nigerian coffers is enormous. From 1914, in 1960, when we gained independence, we did not even move the capital from Lagos to any other place. Lagos remained the capital of independent Nigeria from 1960 to 1991. I'm saying this for my younger ones who, for one reason or the other, listen to the noise about who built Lagos. Whether that argument is from a former governor or that argument ignorantly is from Ndibo. From 1960 to 1991, resources were sunk. It was in 1991 that Ibrahim Babangida, the administration of head of state then, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, moved the capital from Lagos to Abuja. They gave reasons, even though they were controversial reasons at that time, because there was no proper consultation. One of them, of course, was security reasons. Lagos being a coastal city, close to the Atlantic, by the Atlantic, it made their argument, I don't know, I'm not a professional in none of that, but that was their argument, that it makes Nigeria susceptible to attacks via air and the sea. And so, in the case of war, Lagos was a city that could fall easily to enemy targets. That was the reason. The second reason was explosion. Even today, Lagos is popular for its traffic. Lagos is popular for its overpopulation. And so that argument that this city, we cannot plan the city for the future, that was also moved. Location was also an argument that the FCT, even though some people argue, if you wanted something central within the heart, you shouldn't go to Abuja. But that was the argument by those who had the powers to move it to Abuja at that time. And so we now got Abuja by getting land from mostly Niger State, Nasarawa State, and then Kogi State. So Niger had approximately 70% of Abuja's land comes from Niger State. Approximately 20 comes from Nasarawa State, and approximately 10 comes from Kogi State. So that's how we got Abuja. We've not heard the original owners of this land intimidate us. In fact, so central is Abuja, and that idea of what we have done to Abuja. You recall that a senator from Ebonyi State was even talking about displacing more people. And so here we are talking about Lagos. And if there is any reason why leaders from the region must rise up and put an end to what is happening, it is because, just like the Buba Galadimas of this world found out with what the OPC did to them in Ilorin, if this is not done, it favors nobody from the region. If we are to keep up to our creed of unity, faith, peace, and progress, somebody must have to stop this trend blowing around the country. Because trust me, the end will pay nobody no good. Not anybody in the north, not anybody in the east, not anybody in the west, not anybody in the south. Jude Joe Manekeji on Citizens Forum. The numbers to call today to be a part of this engagement are 090-359-44777, 090-359-44777, and 080-6313-0020. Yes, hello.
Yeah, good morning, German.
Yes, welcome to the program. All right, go ahead.
Well, German, if you ask me, I don't know.
Can you please make your contribution very brief so we get to the point?
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
What I'm trying to say here now today is just that it is very clear. Just the tape that you played. But the thing that pains me more there is that the National Assembly, the Igbo who are supposed to represent us in the National Assembly, they are keeping quiet so much. That is the main problem that we have. Not even the governors, because governors can claim that they are in their own territory in the southeast. But the people who are representing us in that Abuja, hate when they are threatening living people. They cannot even stand to defend this particular man. But tomorrow, if there is an agitation in the southeast, they will say that now we do ourselves. Only some people can go to the US and us that the 99 of people are arrested are Igbos. But when you are supposed to defend your people, nationwide they are not. But they can go to the resource outside. Well, I don't know. If our politicians choose to be doing that, they should get ready to be fighting accusation in the Southeast. Because if that accusation in the nation is not down, they will keep having problems in the Southeast. That is the only thing I want to say. Thank you very much.
All right. You say it as if anybody benefits from problems and chaos, especially a people who are very invested in property. Should not. Those who live in glass houses, they say, do not throw stones. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning, DJ Joe Man.
Yes, welcome to the program.
You are the voice of Comrade Jesse Akubi. I'm connecting you the way from my hometown Umwe this morning.
Go ahead.
Yes. You said it all. The fact is that there's this saying that when a purpose is not well defined, then abuse becomes inevitable. What has been going on majorly in Lagos State against an average Nigerian, especially the people from the southeast part of the country? I remember some years ago when some people were evacuated from Lagos and dumped at the Niger Bridge, and so many issues here and there. But the fact remains that until we decided to think home, there's where we talk about it. Somebody will begin to look at it that from being a racist or being using a kind of being sentimental or tribalism. Every day we continue talking about one Nigeria. There's nowhere in the world where any country in the world where the people fashion this idea of one America, one Ghana, one Ethiopia. It's simply because there is a crack on the wall which we don't want to fix. Some weeks ago, even the former military head of this country, came up with a sort of a biased opinion on what happened during the Biafra War. So, and we continue harboring these things. We continue deceiving ourselves, putting up the country for more due. So until we decide if we want to continue as one Nigeria, because a man that is from the southeast have equal right with the man from the west, have equal right with the man from the north, whether north central, north east, and what have you. So what we are saying this morning is that it is becoming more alarming. Look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu today. He's still in the same manner. He's still in the same manner of maltreatment. He's still in the same manner of a hatred and sentiment. So what we are asking is that if we will continue to remain one Nigeria, let's be sensible and let's be sensitive and do things that now we are not going to fold our hands.
All right. Thank you very much. We have the phone lines buzzing. Sorry for that. Please, when you call into the program, try to organize your thoughts and go straight to the point, because let's take as much calls as we can.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot. I didn't know you do program sizes at this time of the day or there's aspects of Nigeria.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we're still talking about the man, Buhari. Buhari is an enigma. I listened to the last part of your speech. Abuba Galadima said that to get our former president Obasanjo to accept. He was scared. A lot of Nigerians were scared. And when Buhari came, we called him Say Baba, change it. Because that was what he was meant to do. And yesterday, Mr. Gambari, His Excellency, the Gambari, who worked with him after Abakari died, said they smuggled papers into his cabinet without him knowing about it. That shows how far the cabal can go in Nigeria. Incidentally, I dare say Buhari is not a politician. He was not a politician. He was a well-footed soldier. And when you put such a person in the midst of this cabal that we have, that call themselves politicians, you begin to wonder. And look at it this way. Buhari, Mr. Sine, he led them, if you remember them, and then he was a governor, then he was a state, head of state, then he was president of Nigeria. And yet, he still has some flaws that we never ever forget to bring out, correct them, so that we can move forward. If President Buhari ever knew that Tinubu is successor, we take Nigeria to this level, he would never have handed over to him.
All right.
But Buhari, please, then 1 second, please.
No, because your conversation is not exactly.
Please, let me finish now.
But then your conversation, you're moving us away from our conversation. It's not about Buhari.
No, I'm not. I'm just going there. I'm not over.
All right, please round up in 30 seconds.
Out of my line of thought.
All right.
Thank you very much. Anyway.
All right, thank you. All right, very sorry. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Joman.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm Chief Obiako from Umwero, Okebo.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, Joman. Is that how we Nigerians will just fold our arms, watching these politicians tearing this country, dividing this country? Do we have law guiding this country? Do we have our constitution? Is it working? Why is these politicians are dividing this country, and yet they say one Nigeria, one Nigeria? If we don't want one Nigeria, the best thing to separate in a very good atmosphere without peace. Imagine what they go is. Those states, does it belong to that very particular governor that said that people should not step in there? Besides that, you go to Lagos. People will buy property, buy land, and develop the land. Overnight, the people will come and demolish that building. When you ask government will tell you they don't know the people that came to destroy the house. Where are we heading to? What a nation that the truth is not there, the law is not functioning, the politicians are doing whatever they like. Anywhere, Igbos are being targeted all the time. Igbos are being targeted. Then the Igbos want to go. Let them go. You people refuse. Then you don't want Igbos to exercise themselves. Igbos with their money, they develop their place. Then you tell them not to come in there. You demolish their property. Haba, let Nigeria, let's have a regime of what we are doing. If we don't want one Nigeria, okay, peacefully, that's all right. Then when I do my own. Enough of this insult. It's getting out of hand. One Nigeria. And you people are dividing the country by yourself. And you are clamoring for one Nigeria. What Sheku did and goes scot-free. What Sheku did and goes scot-free. If I who did it, then they name him. Why? That means so far. But finally, if Nigeria government, if our legislators cannot sit and say this is wrong and this is bad. I remember about 2-3 weeks ago, it's not up to a month now, somebody's building was demolished in Lagos, and Lagos government could not say, okay, who demolished this house? When I can't, nobody, I don't know who demolished. Who instructed people to go and demolish somebody's house? At least before you demolish somebody's house, you must give that person notice. But they want to overnight and demolish and nothing happened up to today. All right. Thank you, Joe Man.
All right, thank you. You know, there is when there is a problem, there are two ways to engage the problem. One of the ways to engage the problem is being sentimental and emotional, and it beclouds your judgment. The other one is to be strategic. If anybody listened and picked the sense of what Buba Galadima said, you will see strategy and intelligence. Hello.
Hello.
Switch off your radio set, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, I want to say something about the program.
Switch off your radio set, properly introduce yourself, and go ahead.
Okay.
Very sorry. It seems it's difficult for you to switch off your radio set. Hello.
Yeah, this is Roman. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to the program, sir.
Now, the guest I'll call out this morning, Mr. Zika, reaching from Monitor.
All right.
Are we talking about Igbo integration in Nigerian polity as a nation? because from what people have been saying, I was able to garner some points.
If you didn't listen to my intro, it would be difficult for you to contribute to the program.
Let me come in. I listened to part of your intro and what played out. And I want to say, anyone that is seeking for unity has to embrace peace and equality. Are you getting me? The Igbo man in Nigerian context will ask ourselves, as really Igbo people, are we united in pursuing one cause? If what happened to you, Mr. Jude, I turn my blind eyes on you. If it happened to me, will you open your eyes? Are you getting it? The kind of disunity we are having here among the elites, the kind of envy and jealousy that's running in their brain is tearing this region apart. That is why we cannot condemn what is condemnable with one voice. Tell me how I, as a leader, will travel out of the country and be marketing my own tribe. Are you getting it? No matter any disguise. What happened in Lagos? It's not a new case. What happened in Edo? Imagine somebody who cannot put two words together, straight and carefully, is talking back to somebody. Even though he has a point, but that point he raised was totally condemnable the way he presented it. Are you getting it? Because I believe if I want to come to your home, like I knew you, I won't sneak in to come to your place. Are you getting it? I'll give you a courtesy call. But the way they are lambasting people rights in the country is because we found that this morning I read, even in Kaduna, people who want to gather together for the birthday stuff, the police ask them not to gather because they're not guaranteed their safety. If we keep tackling at ourselves, we will not find it easy. Let us, as Igbo race, speak with one voice when it concerns an Igbo man anywhere in the world. First and foremost, understand what that person has done. If it is condemnable, hopefully you do what? You do that. If it is condemnable in-house, you call the person in-house. Because outsiders, when they learn that you condemn, just without any record, they will just face that person and that person won't have any ground. So the political elite in the East, imagine the so-called constitutional review that's ongoing now. Instead of our people to be agitated, that let us have equal states, 7 across board. We are still looking for 1 or 2 states. Others are looking for 3 or more. Am I wrong or right? Why can't we come together and say this is what we want and stand by it? Look at the speech they gave yesterday at Abuja. Even those who came to the court never knew that the judge is going on vacation. And because of vacation until October, my brother, it's unfortunate we have people who will speak for us as they claim to represent us. They are not doing anything for the welfare of the those they are thinking about. That is why everything is happening. If you come to Anambra, Wahala, go to Imo, Wahala, go to Imo, same thing, go to Abia, same thing, go to Enugu, same thing, go to Ebonyi, same thing. When shall we have people who will stand for the Igbo man and the Igbo tribe? Anywhere injustice is done to an Igbo man, they will speak and stand by it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for calling in. Hello.
Hello, DJ Yoma.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Yes, my name is Jerry calling from Asaba.
Kindly switch off your radio set, please.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Switch off your radio set. It's as simple as that, sir.
Okay, no problem. Let me do that because I've run away from my radio. So can you hear me now?
Go ahead, let's see if it's better.
Yes, I want to say something about this program. You know, people are talking about Igbo here, Igbo and there, but you don't know that Igbos that in the Senate are the cause of all those things that is happening. You know, they are not one, as the last caller said. You know, when it's a process whereby if the leaders are not one, there will be a development of problems. I'm from Benin State, and the same thing will happen in my state. I know how our leaders, based on they're not one, different. All the Islamic harassment is happening there because of this one. That it's not my problem. I'm not the governor of the state. Sorry, I'm not the this one. So the thing is happening. So Igbos in the Senate, none of them are one. If you come out now, this one say that I'm not the governor of the state. I'm not the concerned with this and that one. So how can the peace will be such people when there's still one voice? The Senate are not one. Imagine now the law is saying that you want to go for vacation. Imagine, you now postpone the go to November. Because there's nobody to come out and talk. There's no voice. The senators here representing Igbos are not able to stand up and talk for their people. All of them are just there, eating money, translating with women there. None of them is standing for their people. None of the senators, if they bring motion in the Senate House, one Igbo man will stand up. No others will not support the senator. Just one person. If there's not one voice, how could the people stand? Then the problem is going on. So saying this here and there, people are the cause of the problem because there's nobody. The senators here are sleeping. So that is the problem. Thank you.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Jerry.
All right, Mr. Jerry, thank you very much. I will say something, but not on your airtime.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. I always like it when people who, because my conversation today was not supposed to have that Igbo coloration. I like his contribution, and I hope everybody who listens to this program, who is listening to this program, watching right now, really picked the sense in what he said. I'll say one or two things about it. Hello, welcome. All right. Now, I just have to do this right now. I thank everybody who called into the program. Just some points I did jot down when people were talking. Somebody did talk about unity and talked about the Igbo elite. We don't have any. We don't have an Igbo elite class. I keep saying that. I doubt we even have a Nigerian elite class. We don't have any because there is a definition of what that word means. And in Nigeria, we can give we can give it whatever definition we, but it is what it is. You don't become an elite when you have money, because any thief can get money overnight. Any thief can get money overnight. Any idiot can inherit billions overnight. That doesn't make you an elite. So we keep confusing wealth with that's not what it is. But then this is not the day to define what it really means. We don't have an elite class. Condemning what is condemnable, jealousy, unity. Now, I'll simply say this. And I'll also add that to what my last caller said. He's from Benue State, one of the states in question, and also one of the states bearing the brunt of the people not being united. Like he said the greatest problem they have in Benue State is those he termed the elites in his state having that problem. Ndibo have a bigger problem. The Benue people might have that identified problem. Ndibo have a bigger problem. And when you look at the people and the wisdom of the sayings of the old, Ndibo have one that says, when you kill a warrior during the squabble at home, there will be war tomorrow. And so Ndibo have sufficiently killed their warriors. And so discredit the political class, discredit the religious class, discredit the traditional class, and every other person who have a dissenting voice. Ndibo, if you go down to history, we are known to be a people who cherish argument and discussion. That was how we had conversations. That was how we built consensus. In the whole of Africa, the Igbo, we are known to be a people who come together and nobody's opinion was the loudest. We decided what to do by consensus, and that was why we didn't have a king like other people have, who is somewhere with all of the powers and who decide what happens. But that's not what we see today. Today in Igbo land, those who shout the most and those who show temper the most carry the day. And so, on the one hand, we might talk about, hey, our leaders rise up, but how about followership? We don't want to talk about that. There is no leader without followers. But then, like I said, my conversation today and the whole essence of this program is for us to have a think. You see, Buba Galadima said something I hope is not lost on all of us. And that is the idea that when you see yours being targeted unfairly, it is time for you to rise up and do the hard work. They didn't come on social media, they didn't come on radio, they didn't come on television. We just learned about this meeting after Buhari died. This was something that happened before 2003 and nobody knew about it. That is what elites do. That's why I say we don't have elites in Igbo land. Who says, where do we have people going around saying Igbo elites? And so they did that, decided what was best for them, and they went ahead. It took them over a decade to achieve what they wanted, but they achieved it in silence. I hope we learned something from that. Citizens Forum will be here same time, same station next week. My name is Jude Joman. I hope I scratched the surface today. See you again next week.